Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today, November 16th. I'm so excited about today's podcast, and I hope you are too. We're going to be talking about salt, chlorite, and chlorine dioxide and understanding the differences. And I'm so excited because I've built an awesome presentation for everyone. And there's even, we're going to hear some great testimonials, some more from Nancy Henderson, just some throwbacks from our old podcast, and just more from great doctors and scientists like Dr. Cockler and Mr. Howard Allinger. Just so much great research and knowledge from both of them to share as well. And if you guys have any questions or anything along the way, I can see chats in X and Rumble, and I think YouTube chats are coming over to Rumble too. So I think if you're over on YouTube, we can also see your chats as well. And I do want to say thank you so much to everybody joining us from all across all social media platforms. We are streaming today from Rumble, Locals, YouTube, X, and Telegram, and then our Facebook recording will be uploaded soon since we can't stream live there. But we are so grateful. Thank you so much, whichever platform you are joining us from. We're just so welcome to have you here. And thank you again so much. So I'm just so excited. I know I've been wanting to talk to everybody about salt. And, there's just been things that come up and everything. And you along the way, you just have to maneuver along the way. And, we're up for changes and such. But today we are getting to it. We get to go check out salt today and the differences between salt chlorite and chlorine dioxide. And I'm just so excited to share that with you guys. So let's get in to our presentation here. Okay. Now for this presentation we have. Sorry, guys. Gotta get used to doing this one. Be right there. Okay, here we go. Let's see. All right, and if you guys can't hear anything or something is showing up weird, just let me know and we will fix that. So here we are presenting on salt, chlorite, and chlorine dioxide, understanding those differences. And I'm Gloria Sharlein, and you could, you could always see more research, products, and more in my shop on at my link tree, and there's that website. And all links I share today, including my shop and everything, are in the description on Rumble. Is the best place to go catch that as well. And just a small disclaimer that the information shared on this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended for medical advice. I'm a mathematician and a certified holistic nutritionist, not a licensed physician. So this content should not be used as a substitute for medical guidance, but I also encourage you to do your own research and get the support you need before making any changes to your diet. And individual results may vary. So salt, when we look into salt, is sodium chloride. And there's the compound structure there, NaCl. It's a common usage of salt, it's a mineral compound, and primarily of sodium chloride, NaCl, which is used in food, especially in granulated form. It is more formally called table salt in the form of the natural crystallite mineral. Salt is also known as rock salt or halite. Salt is essential for life in general, being the source of the essential dietary minerals sodium and chlorine. And saltiness is one of the basic human tastes. Salt is one of the oldest and most ubiquitous food seasonings and is known to informally improve the taste perception of food. Salting and brining and pickling are ancient and important methods of food preservation. And I just got that from Wikipedia. And so what do we know the Bible says about salt in Matthew 5:13? You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its flavor, how shall it be seasoned? It is then good for nothing but to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. And so salt, we are the salt of the earth. We give flavor to the earth. And salt is very important for preserving, for flavor, and just so much for other things. And so I just love Matthew 5:13 as well. And then now we could go and look and see what Barbara O'Neill says about salt and water and how essential is it for life. So we're going to play about 10 minutes of this video here and see what does Barbara O'Neill have to say about salt.
Water, the second most vital element needed for life. So the number one vital element needed for life is oxygen. And that's not a surprise, is it? The second most vital element needed for life is water. You can go 3 minutes without oxygen. You can go a couple of weeks without water. I always thought it was 3 days without water until I read a book called The Long Walk about some people who were escaping the Siberian work camp, and they were in the desert and they went nearly 2 weeks without water. Water is the second most vital element needed for life. In fact, where there's no water, you don't usually get people living, do you? I always say to people, how much water do you drink? And these are some of the answers. I don't like water. If I drink water, my feet swell. If I drink water, I'm going to the bathroom all day. Those last two answers tell me that the water's not getting inside the cell. So how do we get the water inside the cell? We have to go to the third most vital element needed for life, and that is sodium. The fourth most vital element needed for life is potassium. So let's go back to sodium. In nature, we find the highest amount of sodium in seawater, and seawater contains 92 minerals. Of those 92 minerals, approximately 30% is sodium, and of those 92 minerals, approximately 50% is chloride. Now, because sodium chloride take up the most amount, they're the first crystals formed when the water is evaporated. So what man does is he scoops up the first crystals formed, he bleaches them white, puts aluminium with it so that it runs freely, and there's your table salt. Table salt is a dangerous salt because we now have two very harsh minerals that if you were to inject both of those into the blood, you would die. There's two harsh minerals and they need all the other 90 to soften them and balance them. The highest concentration of mineral inside the cell is potassium. The highest concentration outside the cell is sodium. And in this bilayered membrane that is around every cell, there are sodium-potassium pumps. And these sodium-potassium pumps are ever going like this, maintaining the balance between potassium and sodium. But when someone's not eating enough fruits and vegetables, and that's where you get most of your potassium, and they're putting table salt on everything far too much, what happens now is sodium levels rise and potassium levels drop. There is a small amount of sodium in the cell, but when this happens, you see osmosis and diffusion happens when the highest concentration merges into the lowest. So now sodium levels inside the cell are rising, which they should not, and the cell swells. What's that called? High blood pressure. The doctor is right. Table salt will contribute to high blood pressure. There's a French doctor named Dr. Lelangre, and he's written a whole book on salt. He said, when people come to me with high blood pressure, I put them on Celtic salt. Why does he put them on Celtic salt? Because Celtic salt contains 82 minerals. It's a hand-harvested sea salt. So the minerals are in the Celtic salt in their balanced form. What about Himalayan salt? In many places, Himalayan salt is a lot easier to get. There's about 75 minerals. So it's pretty good. But I prefer the Celtic salt. And one reason is that the Celtic salt has 3 magnesiums. It contains magnesium chloride and magnesium bromide and magnesium sulfate. Magnesium is a water-hungry molecule, and this explains why the Celtic salt is such a moist salt, especially when we've had a lot of rain, because those 3 magnesiums absorb the moisture. And because magnesium is a water-hungry molecule, it can be used to help the water get into the cell. So when you take a crystal of Celtic salt, put it on your tongue, and some say, how big's a crystal? Well, if you've got high blood pressure, start small, about the size of a sesame seed. I don't have high blood pressure, so I might have about 3 times little sesame seeds. Put it on your tongue, your mucous membranes start absorbing the minerals, the magnesium is taken to the cell membrane, and you drink your water, and that magnesium pulls that water inside the cell. It's the quickest way to hydrate a body. The only time excess water drinking can be dangerous is if people drink too much at once and don't have the minerals that are in the Celtic salt to pull that water inside the cell. I've had people complain to me, they say, I'm drinking more water now, and now I'm going to the bathroom all day. So I say, are you having the salt? Have a little crystal before every glass of water. And ideally, we should be having approximately 8 glasses of water a day. And then I say to them, and don't drink a whole glass at once. I think I mentioned earlier, I drink half a glass as soon as I get up. I go to the bathroom, I drink another half glass. Then I get dressed and have another half glass. But when I start every glass, I have that little bit of salt. So you spread the water over the day. And many people have said to me, thank you so much, that has made a big difference. See, huge water in, it's not long before huge water has to come out. It's like watering a plant. And look how God sends the rain, little by little by little. And when there's a tornado, when there's a torrential downpour, that's when the soil gets washed away and flooding can happen. So remember that with your body. Take it little by little by little by little. It is the best way to take it. Lining our gastrointestinal tract of villi.
We'll just stop it right there. But I just absolutely love Barbara O'Neill. She has just so much great knowledge, and she's just absolutely right about the salt. And so that is some key takeaways from this, is remembering how much minerals is in the salt that you're using, because it is very important that we get minerals, but the right kind of minerals. We don't want minerals from our sink water that we were all taught, like, oh, we need to get minerals from sink water. No, those minerals are from the pollutants from the rivers off of the rocks that create our pineal glands to be calcified and such, and fluorine and fluoride in the body. And so we don't want any of those kind of minerals. And we don't want the minerals in table salt as well, because table salt only has 2 minerals in it to begin with. So it is also not the correct salt choice and is harmful, like Barbara O'Neill talked about. And so Celtic salt, as she said, is the best choice because there's 82 minerals plus magnesiums in it. So you get a really good boost into your system with that. And then Himalayan salt has 72 minerals in it. So still a great choice for salt. So especially if you're distilling your water and you're not getting any minerals, it's 0 minerals, but 0 pollutants. So it's still a healing water as well. And we've shared about distilled water. And then adding the correct salt into it, Celtic salt or Himalayan salt would probably be your best options of salt to add to your water. And then now you're able to get that process and into the cells. So getting that water into the cells, and you're providing that hydrogen and oxygen into the cells. So that's why salt is just so valuable. And yeah, just like Barbara O'Neill said, a doctor might tell you, oh, you can't have any salt, but you can't have any table salt. You can't have any processed salt. Those salts can lead to bioaccumulation of toxins in the body. And so verifying that you're not having any kind of processed foods, including processed salt, is just so important. And then now moving on to chlorine dioxide. Let's look and see. Chlorine dioxide is a compound, ClO2, and it's not, in fact, a recent discovery, although many of us are recently learning about chlorine dioxide. In fact, this gas was first produced by Humphrey Davy in 1811. Wow. Okay, so we're having all this censorship around chlorine dioxide in 2025, yet it's been produced and used since 1811. So it's kind of strange to me how in 2025 we've come to a place where we have gone backwards, I feel like, in engineering. Instead of allowing research, it's so censored that only if you're doing this or looking at this, if you're only if you are making, really. And what it comes down to, unfortunately, isn't about, is it going to help a lot of people? It's about, is it going to make elites and higher ups money? Because if there's no money in it, then they're not going to want to, they're going to censor it. They're not going to want to tell the public. They only push things that make money as options. And so that's why it's just so important also to learn the knowledge and research, so you can make your educated decisions in times of needs. And I'm just so grateful to have this knowledge and research. So then now when I need to heal, when I need to help my family heal, these are the things that I also go to. And it's not just chlorine dioxide but it's everything that we share on the podcast. And so even since 1811, though, they have been studying chlorine dioxide and chlorine dioxide gas. And so when reacting hydrochloric acid with potassium chlorite, this is yield chlorine. And that's what was termed back then. Well, Allinger showed in 1978 that chlorine dioxide could be applied topically by the individual user. Although chlorine dioxide is a strong oxidizing agent, it's in particular a fast disinfectant. There are no reports in the scientific literature of toxicity by skin contact or ingestion, or moreover of magneticity. It would seem that effective application of this compound as a topical medication for skin disease, as a disinfectant on food, as well as a cold sterilant on instruments and glassware, is long overdue. And that's from Howard Allinger's overall view of chlorine dioxide, which you could also find on the deoxycare.com/Gloria website. And many of his research papers are found there as well. And so then we could go further into chlorine dioxide, CD. It's made up of two very abundant and inexpensive components: sodium chlorite, NaClO2, and hydrochloric acid, or any acid. Since it's highly soluble, mucous membranes absorb it easily, and the chlorine dioxide gas can penetrate the interstitial tissue. The gas, when dissolved in water, generates a powerful selective disinfectant that eliminates by oxidation all pathogen agents with acidic pH levels. And that comes from Dr. Andreas Cockler's Forbidden Health. And he has new books available as well, even updated books on chlorine dioxide. And also, this just shows as well a big problem with diseases, cancers, is the acidity in the body is way too high. And so that is something that chlorine dioxide does, is it oxygenates the body. Excuse me, guys. It oxygenates the body. And so it's going to take your body from the high acidity levels, high acidic pH, and take your body to a high alkaline state. That's just one of the mechanisms that it does. And those of us who have been studying now here, we all know that viruses, parasites, metals do not thrive in alkalinity environments. They thrive in acidic environments. So sometimes just changing the pH level in your body can just do miracles. And so I just love that about chlorine dioxide. And then so we could go further into looking at what is CDS by Andreas Cockler. And he explains in this Rumble video I'm going to show. Pardon me. This video, though, is pretty long, and I couldn't get it to size properly into the slide here. So I'm going to have to exit our slide and go into this video real quick, but I'm going to show a really important part of this video here. And I just love this. Absolutely. It's just so good by Andreas Cockler here, showing what is the CDS, what is that mechanism of oxygenating the cells, what does that look like? What does that look like in terms of dealing with viruses in the bloodstream? And so here you guys go. You guys check this out.
chlorine dioxide solution. 10 milliliter is added to 1 liter of water, which then is drunk in 10 doses during the day. It is therefore very easy to use.
Oops, one sec. For some reason it jumped forward on me, so I'm just going to take this back a little bit here. And here we go. Sorry about that.
And this helps to de-acidify the body. In case of viruses, their prominence is the spike proteins that contain cysteine or tyrosine are oxidized regardless of the variant, as it is the case with corona. Every virus needs different acids to attack cell, and these acids will react with CDS, chlorine dioxide, because it contains a chloride ion, which is an oxidant, and at the same time it releases oxygen O2 at exactly the same problems area, which normally has circulatory disturbances. CDS, chlorine dioxide, also its pH neutral, can release 4 electrons, which are negatively charged, and cancel protons, which are the positively charged acid. It is therefore an electrothermal process, which can be explained biophysically, and it's not a typical pharmaceutical process which works with receptors. So this can also be observed in the blood, which is deoxygenated under the microscope. When we add chlorine dioxide solution to oxygen-deficient blood, it recovers immediately because it immediately absorbs the oxygen of the ClO2 released after the separation caused by hyperacidity. Therefore, if we assume that over 90% of all diseases also provoke hyperacidity, so-called acidosis, it is absolutely logical why this substance is and can be efficient in so many different diseases. It is therefore a new technology which has never been used in this way in pharmaceuticals until now. Also, the toxicity, or rather the non-toxicity of CDS, has been well studied and known for more than 100 years. It is mostly used for drinking water treatment. How is CDS chlorine dioxide applied practically? The handling is very simple. Of a concentrated CDS stock solution of 3000 ppm, which corresponds to 0.3% CDS chlorine dioxide solution, 10 milliliter is added to 1 liter of water, which then is drunk in 10 doses during the day. It is therefore very easy to use. It's called Protocol C. Therefore, a single dose is only 3 to 6 milligram. To intoxicate an adult of LD50 level, or 50% of 70 kilos, requires 20,440 milligrams over 14 days. And in 15 years, no critical interactions have been observed when
Okay, and he just gets way deep into this, what is chlorine dioxide and chlorine dioxide solution, but all the science is there. All the research is there. We can just add 10 mils to a liter of water, like he said, and drink Protocol C. You drink 1 every hour if you can. You don't mix it with metal. You take it an hour away from antioxidants. You could even take it an hour away from your prescriptions if you wanted to feel better about that too. But these are the reasons as well why you want to look at more research. Look down below in the description of this video on Rumble to get more links to research, to join me in coaching, to learn more research around chlorine dioxide and everything else that it is doing and how to apply it. But I'll also share Dr. Cockler's website and such, so you can also see these wonderful books that he has and get these off of his website as well. And so when we go back to our presentation and see now bringing it all together, and what are the findings of Dr. Cockler, what are the findings of Howard Allinger, and what are some findings that we've had here on Hidden Knowledge Uncensored. And so Howard Allinger has studies that have shown dioxigard and dioxiderm, which are chlorine dioxide or chlorine dioxide complexes, to be two of the fastest disinfectants. Bacteria, viruses, and even fungi are killed in under 1 minute in vitro. This rate of deactivation includes the mycobacteria, the amoeba, and spores non-vacuum dried. And so that's just amazing. There's all this research and proof how the chlorine dioxide is antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, just like we've been saying all along. And then here by Dr. Cockler in Forbidden Health, you can see it's true. A testimonial says taking MMS for 22 days made all the malignant cells in the tongue's adjacent areas disappear, since the pain was moving into the jaw and the ear. I thank God for the minute I found out about this miracle mineral. And that came from a tongue cancer testimonial. But it is just absolutely a miracle mineral. And then when we go into, I saw even on the DeoxyCare website, they had an NIH report on the deactivation of cowpox and vaccine viruses by DeoxyCare, the DeoxyRinse mouthwash. And it noted that viruses were killed in 1 minute. And so this was a report even from NIH on the DeoxyCare mouthwash killing viruses. So I thought that was really awesome. And you can see that report on their website. Links are down below in the description on Rumble. And then we could go further into looking at our testimonials, even here on Hidden Knowledge Uncensored. Looking back at a throwback podcast, this is from podcast number 30 in February 2025-24 with Miss Nancy Henderson, who I'm just so grateful for and blessed. And so you guys sit back and enjoy, and let's hear what Miss Nancy has to say about healing.
Hello, everybody. If you're using supplements, you want to make sure you're using clean supplements. And I'm just so grateful and honored and blessed that I can share all this information. And it was Nancy who used this information as well and saw all the knowledge that Dr. Group had to share as well. And then my testimony, and she was also able to heal from that. And Nancy, I would love for you to share your testimony with us.
Oh, thank you, Gloria. And Gloria, truly, you have changed remarkably your appearance. You actually have a glow about you, and you've lost a lot of weight, and you look fabulous. So it's a real testimony to what you've been doing and how you've been healing, and I'm glad we're able to share it. Most of you know who I am, but I'll try to go really quick for those who don't. I'm Nancy Henderson. I'm 77 years old. I lived a healthy, active life my entire life. I just wasn't a sickly person. But in March of 2022, I got injured by COVID-19 shedding. I got really sick and a fatigue that never went away for quite a long time. In November of 2022, I got injured by a tetanus vaccine. The next day, I had a horrible allergic reaction to the tetanus vaccine, and every orifice in my body opened up to try to get rid of the poison that had entered my body from that tetanus vaccine. It put me in bed for 6 to 8 months. I lost 31 pounds within 12 weeks. I normally weigh about 115. I went down to 84 pounds. The inflammation from the terrible allergic reaction from the tetanus vaccine induced face, eye, and scalp shingles, which you're seeing the picture of. I've never felt pain like this before. It's 15 months later now, but I still have 24/7 nerve damage. All the scabs have healed up, everything has gone away, but the nerve damage pain has lingered on. The nervous system is one of the hardest things to heal. And like I've said so many times, healing is not a fast food drive-through experience. It takes time to rebuild your body from an assault that many Americans and people in the world have experienced since 2020. The methods I use to heal are simple. There are 3 methods. In May of 2022, I started a diet change, which is one thing we'll go into on another space. So it's been 10 months since then. In June of 2022, I started urotherapy. That's been 9 months now. And in December of this year, or 2023, I should say, I started chlorine dioxide solution. That's been 8 weeks now. In these 10 months, from the time I changed my diet to starting the urotherapy to using the CDS, I am 80% healed in the nerve damage. And I'm looking forward to complete healing. Why is knowledge so important? Why is chlorine dioxide important to learn about? This is why. Today I learned that astonishing data from the Epic Times website that they did a study on 99 million Americans. It shows that there is a toxic pesticide, linked to infertility in 80% of Americans already. This sterility in Americans is very suspicious because it goes along with the depopulation agenda. 5.5 billion people have received some form of the COVID. 2.5 billion are not vaccinated. We're talking in the world. Dr. Corey said that today that all Americans have some form of the vaccine in us. That's why Gloria and I are doing these spaces, because we know that the assault that's happened to the world has got to find some ways to cure. COVID-19 vaccine shedding is real. The FDA and Pfizer are aware of this, Dr. Corey said today. He said this is the biggest pharma push in history. And so this is why knowledge is so important. This is why CDS, which is chlorine dioxide solution, is so important. Today, my focus is going to be on CDS. I'm going to show you a video. It's 11 minutes long, but it's going to give you a good overview of what chlorine dioxide solution is, why it's safe and effective, and why you should learn on your own before you do anything or put anything in your body and decide what is good for your body. So, Gloria, do you have that video queued up? I'm not sure,
Yes,
Gloria.
Here we go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, they always want to start with 2 advertisements. And you have to.
Okay. And I just have to share with you real quick in here. Let's see what Nancy was looking like here in 2024. She's doing so well. Oh, she's going to share out of me chlorine dioxide solution.
In my body, in my ability to think, in the brain fog, everything has started healing at a faster rate. So I'm really happy for that. I want to show you a quick demonstration of what you will need if you decide to do the CDS. I can't recommend buying pre-made chlorine dioxide solution. And I'd like to tell you quickly the differences in case some of you have forgotten. MMS is Miracle Mineral Solution. And Miracle Mineral Solution is the first discovery of chlorine dioxide that would work in healing malaria. it was an incredible find in December 12 of 2012. So MMS was discovered by Jim Humble, who was an explorer and was in Africa, and his men got sick with malaria, and the only thing he had was a water purifier, which is chlorine dioxide. And it's used in all of our water plants across the United States, and I'm sure probably in the world. There's no pathogen that it hasn't been able to destroy, no known pathogen. And that's a huge thing to say about any product. Then the difference I told you between MMS is miracle mineral solution, the first 3 drops of sodium chlorite and 3 drops of an activator. Then you have CD, which is chlorine dioxide, which is 3 drops of sodium chlorite and 3 drops of an activator. But those are very harsh ways to take chlorine dioxide because you can get a stomach ache and you can get diarrhea from it. I chose CDS, which is chlorine dioxide solution. And chlorine dioxide solution is very gentle on your body. And I'll show you, if I can turn my video around, my camera. Oops, you can see my feet. Let me see. Can you see this tray, everyone?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, this is how I make the chlorine dioxide. Inside there is a shot glass. So you need a little glass that would fit inside of this little mason bubble jar. This little bubble jar, excuse me for it being so wiggly, I'll try and get it stable. This little bubble jar has a glass sealing lid so I can seal it. And so what I do is I take this little shot glass out and I take a 5 milliliter syringe right here. And I turn it upside down and I hold my finger over the bottom, take the stopper out, and I fill it with 5 milliliters of part A. 5 milliliters is 2 teaspoons. So I put part A in, 5 milliliters, 2 teaspoons, and then I use part B, which is the activator, and I use hydrofluoric acid as the activator. You can use citric acid, but it neutralizes a lot of the effects. So it's hydrofluoric acid, which they call HCl, is the best. I mix, like I said, 5 milliliters of part A, 5 milliliters of part B. Then it turns an amber color. I put it in the little jar, and I fill this little jar up with water just so it doesn't go into the shot glass, and then I seal it. And that is it. I put it in the cupboard in the dark for 12 hours or more. Can stay there 15 or 20 hours. But when the contents in the shot glass, in this little shot glass, and in this water turn the same color, it's ready. Now I do a double infusion. I have a second shot glass, and I open this quickly and shut it so the gas doesn't escape. And I put another 2 teaspoons of each part A and part B. Open this up quickly. Put it in the CD water that's already had 1 infusion. Close it. And what happens is when you close that, there's a chemical reaction in that shot glass, and it puts out a gas, and the gas is then forced down into the water. And the water is the CDS. Then I take that when I'm all done, I take that and I put it into a prescription bottle, my CDS that I've made. I put it and I put that in the refrigerator. And every day when I measure my water that I'm going to drink for the day, I put the recommended amount of whatever protocol you choose. I choose protocol C because it's one for general maintenance. Another protocol C is for severe illness, and one is for chronic illness. I am using the one for severe illness. I haven't gone to the chronic one yet, so I can take a lot more than what I'm doing. But
And I just absolutely love, Nancy has absolutely come so far from across the face shingles to healing with urine and chlorine dioxide, and just sharing her testimony and blessing us with her knowledge. And I'm just so grateful for that. And as she says, she was following for chlorine dioxide. She goes and uses the protocols that you can find at DeoxyCare's website, at Frontier Pharmaceutical, frontierfarm.com/Gloria. They have many chlorine dioxide products there. That was Howard Allinger. And now his daughter, Valerie, and their CEO, Michelle, they run the business now and just doing such a lovely job over there. And in our chlorine dioxide our chlorine dioxide playlist section here on Rumble, we have an interview with them too, so you guys can definitely want to go check that out as well. And then for the protocols like Nancy was using, those came from Dr. Andreas Kochler books. He has a beautiful new book. I strongly suggest to go download it. I believe this December, Achieved Health is going to be on a hardback that you can buy, but right now it's an access only. You buy access into a paid wall where the book is behind a paid wall, but you'll have lifetime access once you buy it digitally. And then keep an eye out. It should be coming out soon. You guys can have it on a hardback at home. But I absolutely love, I have Forbidden Health, but Achieved Health, his new book, has some new enema protocols in it, just some new protocols that are not in Forbidden Health. So he's like revamped everything. Witten did just such a fabulous job. So it's definitely worth the money to upgrade and get Achieved Health as well, and get all of his latest and newest protocols. But it's just, urine therapy is also antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, septic, anti everything. It's so healing as well. But when you are working maybe with some people that may not be so comfortable with urine, chlorine dioxide is just such another great place to go. I've gone to this protocol book, and just a family member is having an ear problem. So I go and look up the ear protocols for chlorine dioxide. I activate my chlorine dioxide, warm up some distilled water, make myself an ear spray, make my family members an ear spray. The earaches go away just like this and don't come back, and didn't have to go to the doctors. So now we're able to take care of ourselves with these ways that are not pharmaceuticals, that don't have harmful additives, that are down to minerals, herbs, natural substance out of the body. Those are the natural ways that we've been given, and tools to be able to succeed living in such a toxic environment outside the body and inside the body. But now we have beautiful ways to deal with both. There's even, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Protocol H for home, you activate 25 drops and just leave it sitting out, and it kills all the bacteria in the air, all the viruses in the air. So it's a great thing just to have around your house. Just activate drops and have them sitting out there, and you're then now having purified air. So I just love using all these protocols. And then DeoxyCare, Howard Allinger was able to stabilize part A and part B, and now making products that some of the products like the mouthwash and the toothpaste, to keep them potent, they're in 2 parts and you activate at time of use. But some of their products, like some of their wound care products and fungal products, when you go over there to frontierfarm.com/Gloria, you can see they're one bottle products. So that was some of his beautiful patents, that he was able to stabilize part A and part B and make one bottle products. So they're just also such wonderful products to have on hand. My daughter loves to use DeoxyCare products for any kind of blemishes, or when she breaks out as a teenager. Sometimes we were breaking out on the face. She's had an issue with a type of sore from being around a grandmother that was sick. But ever since she started using DeoxyCare products, she's not had one breakout. And now we're going on years of using these products, and really she's been happier than ever. It's been so nice that she hasn't had any breakouts. And in the beginning of using the products, she never got flare-ups that were really bad like she did before, and now she's not even getting them. And so that's the beautiful thing when you start working with products that are antiviral, antibacterial, gonna oxygenate the body, gonna bring down the acidity in the body. Now you're talking about that you get to cleanse your body of anything that shouldn't be there, and our body is able to have that room to heal itself, because that's what our bodies do naturally. Our bodies do naturally heal. We just have to give it that space and the correct things and tools to do so. Also, don't forget over at Snoot and DeoxyCare to use discount code Gloria5 and get some extra savings there. And all of your purchases there also do not only support your health, but they support Hidden Knowledge Uncensored and keeping us a free and independent broadcast. So I do appreciate you guys doing that. Thank you so much. And then for more solutions as well, you guys please go check out some more Hidden Knowledge Uncensored podcasts on chlorine dioxide. You could go see that. The Rumble link is in the description below. You could just go over to my podcast channel on Rumble at Gloria Free For All with the number 4. And then you go there to the playlist and chlorine dioxide section, and you'll see we've interviewed DeoxyCare ladies. We've interviewed Mark Grennan there on chlorine dioxide. Just so many beautiful podcasts there with Nancy and Randy and more. So go check those out for more research, more how to see how we're all doing it, and learn more about also the toxins, and why it's so important that we are living a cleansing, regenerating lifestyle, as I like to call it. And as we say that, moving into, please, you guys, I would love for you guys to send me an email and let me know that you're interested and would like to join me in transformation coaching, where you can learn more and take deeper dives into cleansing, regenerating, so you'll be able to thrive and live that thriving lifestyle. And that's where I'm just so grateful that I've been able to help others do that. And I am grateful that I've been able to do that. My life has completely changed in the last 3 years. Being able to live a cleansing, regenerating lifestyle myself. And now I'm just thriving. And so send me an email. Right now I'm doing hourly coaching, and then I'm doing once a month group coaching. So we have prices and programs for each. Even if you want to do a 2-month program with me too, we're doing those as well. So just go ahead and email me, and I would love to take a deeper dive with you and cleanse, regenerate, and thrive. And I know we all can do this. Sometimes extra support is all you need, and I can help you do that, showing you the research, helping you apply the research. Anything that you guys are desiring, I can help you bring that stuff to you guys too. So it's wonderful to have a holistic nutritionalist in your back pocket. And then Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. And I'm just so grateful too for all the support out there. Anytime that you guys even like our videos or share our videos, it just makes such a big difference. It's helping us get more popular, helping us get to the top of the feed and social media platforms. So just continue to do that. We really do appreciate it. It doesn't even cost anybody any money to just share our work. And doing that helps beat censorship, help others learn that we do have other options, other antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal options. It is not just big pharma options out there. We have other options to choose from. And so just giving people that knowledge. I didn't know about chlorine dioxide nor urine therapy 3 years ago. You know, most of us have never heard about these things. So just the fact to give others the other option is just such a beautiful thing to do for one another. And I'm so grateful that I learned about it and healed. And just like Nancy was saying, that's why we started making this podcast and sharing with others to help others know that there's other options, because we both know what it was like to be on death's bed, feeling like there was nothing else, and coming through that. So just so grateful to you guys. Join us more in coaching, and yeah, you won't regret it. You'll learn so much, be able to apply it, and it really is a lifestyle you're learning. And so it is skills and tools that you'll be able to use the rest of your life. And that is the beautiful thing about urine therapy and chlorine dioxide. They are things that you can do for your lifetime. And it is a lifestyle for me. And now I've been doing them for a few years now, going into a few years. And so I'll just keep going. I can't believe even from that podcast in 2024, the differences on even how I look now in 2025. And that's just the outside of my body. I know what's happening on the inside of my body as well. When our outside of our body, when everything, my hair, I could tell my hair was looking better. My skin is looking better. And that just means that my cells on the inside are still healing and regenerating even more since 2023 when I healed, in 2024, and now here in 2025. And I have no doubt that 2026 will be the same. And I'm just so excited. I'm so grateful to be in a place where I get to be excited about what is to come. And I know that we all have it inside of us too, and it looks different and timing is different. And just like Barbara O'Neill was saying, we have to do little bits at a time with our body. But also, like Dr. Group and Jonathan Otto say, when we are doing these things, though, we get to feel some relief and comfort that when you're making good decisions, you're moving up on your ladder of health. And when we're moving up on our ladder of health, we are not moving down. And so it takes 9 months in the womb for the baby to heal. But during that whole time, the baby is growing. And so as we heal, as long as time it takes, we are healing along that time. And none of us can also be in perfect health or perfect state. We are not perfect. All of us constantly have to cleanse and regenerate and make those good choices not to put toxins into our body. And we'll take deeper dives into everything on that. And I plan on continuing our lifestyle topics. And I want to do more on urine therapy. I actually just was interviewed, and Megan McDonald and I had an interview on urine therapy. So I'll be sharing that soon. It was such a great one on how important urine therapy is to detox and all of the things that you can detox with it, some of the things I should say. So it's a really good interview. I'll be sharing that soon. And also, don't forget the board meeting for NSHE is this Tuesday, where they're going to be speaking about letting men play in women's sports. They'll also be speaking on university violence. The agenda is now out online, so you can see the description here in Rumble to go to the NSHE upcoming meetings and agendas. See November 18th. If you guys are anywhere around Reno, Las Vegas, Carson City, or Elko, you're able to get to any of those locations November 18th. You guys can come live to those locations. Before and towards the end, they have 2 parts for public comment, but anybody is welcome to show up and give public comment. And I really do greatly appreciate anybody that comes to share their testimony on that, because I know it's an issue. I love everybody. It's not about judging or seeing people any differently. This topic is particularly for men in women's sports. I don't think any men should be in women's sports for multiple reasons. I've shared some of that in our podcast lately. And my daughter stopped playing competitive sports because of this reason. So I think women should be able to have their own safe places. We should be able to have our own bathrooms, our own locker rooms, without having men around. That shouldn't even be, I shouldn't have to feel like, oh, I'm, I'm like I hate any kind of person, a gay person or a transgender person, because I don't think men should be in sports. Those are 2 different things. Those should not be assumed because I don't want men in women's sports that I just don't like transgender men or gay men. That is absolutely not true. I just don't believe. I think and honestly do believe that women should have their own bathrooms. So no zone for men there for multiple reasons. And so I would just absolutely love if you guys want to share your testimony. And then we already know about research the university and violence. I could tell you here, even where we live, where are the most violent places, and places where the most violence happens is in the university. And so I don't see where we look on things and we look at all of the Charlie Kirk shooting and all the violence that happens on the universities. So is the direction that they're going when it comes to their policies around violence, around weapons, around what is allowed and not allowed? Because we're not even allowed to have pepper spray. We're not allowed to have tasers. So then that means that the people that are causing violence, bringing guns to campuses that don't care about policies or not, but those of us that are following policies, they know that we are there with no ways to properly defend ourselves against people coming onto campus with a gun. Now, everywhere else in Reno, here in Nevada, concealed carry is legal. So to me, I think how I see things happening in real life is that most people, they come to the campus knowing that nobody else there except campus police will have any ways to defend themselves. And they take advantage of that. Most of the violence, most of the shootings that we see are done on school campuses. So I don't necessarily think what they're doing is also safe. So now that I see that was added onto the agenda as well, I'm probably going to be speaking on both things because they are both important. And I strongly encourage everybody out there to speak on meetings, go to meetings, get involved with agendas in your area, because they are being sneaky right now. They don't tell the community. I bet most of my community here has no idea that this is happening. but they would not want their daughters getting slammed in the face by volleyballs, let's say, and things like this, but they don't even know it's happening, so their voices aren't being heard. And then when they go to the meetings, they say that everybody is for it because nobody came to say anything, which that is not true as well. Nobody even knows that this is going on, but that's what is going on, and that's what's happening in these meetings. It's so deceitful. It's full of lies, and that's how you also know that it's just not of God. It's not true. If it was true, then why are you lying to the public and being deceitful about it? Another thing I don't appreciate is that the presidents of the universities, they'll say things like, we're going to protect women in women's sports. But then you go to their meetings and not one talk about women in women's sports. It's about protecting men in women's sports. And then they call that protecting women in women's sports because men are just allowed to say that they're a woman now. And then so the whole deceitfulness, making people think we're going to protect women in women's sports, but then not one protection or words or any meetings done to protect actual women without, with certain parts of our body that make us women, including our chromosomes. And it's all grown men protecting men in women's sports. It is just, I can't believe really that we're even here having this discussion, because women have fought so hard to have their own sports to begin with. Runners, they used to be, the men would really treat them horribly, because they said that it was a men only sport. Women couldn't do that sport. So we had to fight to have our own sports here. And now, just like I was saying earlier, it's like we're going back 60 years or something. And now they're just trying to do away completely with women's sports. I mean, if you allow men into women's sports, then there's no such thing as women's sports anymore. Because you have things like women getting knocked out by men with volleyballs to the face. You see things like 20-year-old records that women have carried for swimming. A 20-year-old record. I mean, that's something to be proud of that a woman did there. And then now all of a sudden you let a man into women's sports that just because he says he's a woman, and here you're talking he's 2 feet taller than the other women that he's competing with. He breaks all the records, 20-year-old records in one meet. And then they praise him for that. And to me, that's just so sad and shouldn't be happening in our world today. So I really do appreciate everybody out there and speaking up for our children. This affects our children. This isn't so much, it will impact all of our lives. But my daughter is already graduating. She already she'll graduate in a year. So she already now lost her opportunity to compete competitively at this university because of this issue. So now we are just standing up. So hopefully other women, young ladies, young women of our community can come to this university and have the opportunity to compete, because my daughter didn't. And so I really hope that we can make a difference out there and protect women in women's sports and give them a safe place, a safe locker room, a safe place to go. Because I could tell you that in the women's locker room, we're not running around there flashing through the thing, and that's what you're seeing now happening with these men in women's locker rooms. Women are getting flashed with men's parts and such. Like, women don't act like that in a women's locker room. And so, I just, it's hard to even believe that we're here, you guys. So please come out, get to those 4 locations: Las Vegas, Carson City, Elko. in Reno to give a public comment. And if you need some help with that, or if I can help assist you in any way, go ahead and email me at hiddenKnowledgeUncensored@gmail.com. And I'm so grateful for each and every single one of you. May God bless all of our voices. And thank you so much. Some other upcoming announcements are Barbara O'Neill and Jonathan Otto will also be in North Carolina in fall 2026. So that'll be something that you guys want to keep an eye out for, as well as Jonathan Otto and Red Life Devices are 30% off for single devices till December 1st, and 35% off on bundles. All of those coupon codes are in the description here on Rumble. BF30 for 30% off single items, and BF35 for bundles. And you can get that link there in the description for Red Life Devices. Also, his Well of Life is also 30% off, so use that discount code BF30 and don't miss out on those discounts while supporting your health and getting natural ways to heal and regenerate, which is just so amazing. And if anybody has any questions out there, I would love to hear them. So go ahead and post them in the chat. If anybody has any questions, just looking around, I don't see any questions from everybody, so I'll probably get wrapping up here. And thank you again, everybody, for joining us from Rumble, Locals, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Telegram. Just so grateful to each and every one. And don't forget to keep an eye out on my Rumble channel for upcoming podcasts. My link tree also for my shop and more research. And join us next Sunday at 1:30, and we will be here again. And I'll just end by reading my Amazing Grace devotional for today, November 16th, The Gift of Discipline. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. And that's Hebrews 12:11, the New King James Version. NIV version. We all appreciate well-disciplined children that have learned at some point that they must submit to their parents, are a delight to be around. While they are still fully children, they exhibit a humility that submits to rules and authority even when they don't like it. As children of God, we can also take comfort when He disciplines us. The heart of God is disciplining us is clearly that He does it in love for our benefit. He is serious about dealing with sin in our hearts, and this will naturally be painful. But we should be encouraged. If we submit to the discipline of God in our lives, He gives us a precious gift, a harvest of righteousness and peace. Who doesn't want more peaceful heart? And it is absolutely, God does say that even though things will naturally be painful and we will go through things, but when we submit to Him, we will have a harvest full of righteousness and peace. And so we just stay disciplined in the Word of God and in His light, and we will see the fruits of that discipline also show. And I'm just so grateful to each and every single one of you. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Just stay tuned. We're going to have some more announcements, more opportunities coming here for Northern Nevada. And don't forget, if you want to take a deeper dive into transforming your life and learning more about cleansing and regeneration, send me an email at hiddenknowledge@gmail.com. And stay tuned to this podcast. We'll see you guys next week at 1:30 p.m. PST. All right. Love you all. God bless, and see you soon. Bye.